All right, everybody, so in today's study guide, we are going to be taking a look at the different factoring theorems that we've done over this past week and doing it, basically applying it to some of the examples that we have. So you first want to list our factors of our first and last. So 12, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And on the bottom it is just 1. So now we can have plus or minus all of these. So plus or minus 12, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then what we're going to see is we can plug each of these in, and that is going to help us to be able to figure out which one of these is a factor. And then once we figure out our factors, we're going to identify 3 of them. We're going to be able to solve for the fully factored form. So one at a time, we're going to plug in each of our numbers here. So positive 12, minus 12, and then do it the same thing for 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we're looking for 3 answers that give us an answer of 0. So again, once we find those 3 zeros, you're going to get x equals something, x equals something, x equals something for the 3 zeros. The fully factored form is going to be opposite of those zeros. So for example, if you had like x equals 5, your factored form would be x minus 5. So make sure that you do switch the sign for that. So I'm going to leave this question open. That way you can take some time and calculate. The same thing applies to the second question because it actually is very, very similar here. So solving for all real zeros. So that is just going to be the 3 x equals terms that we see here. So the zeros are the x equals terms. And then for this one, when we factor, the factor is going to be the 3 things that we factor here. All right, so once we've done that, again, looking at our same question here, so some good practice with this same one, we're going to plug in and see which one of these is a factor for each of these. So what we have to do before we plug in is we do have to set them equal to the opposite of their sign, and then that will be the term that we plug in. So we would do 3 cubed plus 3 is 3 squared minus 4 times 3 minus 12. So going through each of these basically is the looking for any of them to be 0. So our first one, we're going to see does not equal to 0. It should be 30, I believe, there. For our second one, we get negative 1 plus 3 plus 4 minus 12. So that's going to be negative 6. And then for our last one here, it's going to be 1 plus 3 minus 4 minus 12. So here, what we're going to see is negative 12 should be our answer here. So what it looks like is none of these options work as we're trying to identify what our zeros are. So back to the drawing board for this one, and we'd have to, again, go through, probably use a table in our calculator to plug in plus or minus all of these, and that's what's going to tell us how we find our zeros. But again, do need to see an answer. For this one here, we would need to see an answer of 0 when we plug in the intercept there. So hopefully this video helps. Again, the guided notes are going to be a better start for you if you are having a hard time getting started, but this is just more going over the steps and the properties that we use to solve. For the first two, can't show a TI-80 series calculator on my screen, so plugging in all of these values on the iPad wouldn't be a good use of anybody's time, but that's something that you would definitely want to plug in to your calculator and solve for which ones do give you zeros there. So, as always, thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps, and good luck on your